What's up, everyone? I'm here with the number 11th ranked UFC Featherweight Sodiq Yusuff. He's coming off a huge win against Alex Caceres. But before we talk about that, we got to get your take on the news of the day, the Chris Rock Will Smith incident. I see you've been posting about it on social media. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's funny. I was like, man, any interview, because I scheduled a couple of interviews today. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna be talking about most of the time, man. My initial reaction, I thought it was fake, to be honest, but after a while, I was like, okay, maybe this isn't fake after all. But I definitely think it's whack on Will Smith's part, man. I don't you can't go around trying to slap comedians, especially for the joke he made. I don't think that was slap worthy if it was gonna happen.
Right. So from just a strictly like martial arts perspective, you've been training a long time. Like technically, someone does that to you. What self-defense do you pull in that moment?
Man, we was talking about that at the gym today. Honestly, man, I would have probably been in the same shoes he was, because it's gonna take me a little while to register that this dude just hit me. It's one of those things where like afterwards, then you would be like, I should beat the shit out of that dude. But like in the moment, you're gonna be like, wait, this guy just really slapped me, So it's one of those things. I think I'll be in too much of a shock to have to give a proper response. Like if we was like in a heated like argument and then he slapped me, like then instinct would take over. But not if we're like cracking jokes,
Yeah, and he just walked right away after he hit him. So yeah, like you said,
exactly. Walked off into the sunset.
yeah. He almost had that like McGregor strut going too, and he walked back.
Exactly. I would say this though: when he was walking off, I would have enticed him as much as possible into doing it again.
You would have kept cracking jokes. You or Chris Rock trying to get him to come back.
Well, from then on, like I feel like that was a soft joke. After that, then the jokes don't have to be soft anymore.
Right. I mean, you already got slapped, so why not? They keep the ball rolling.
Exactly.
So, but kind of similar to that, this kind of reminded me to talk about MMA, the Covington Masvidal thing, right? Where it's like the guy's making jokes that might be across the line, but then you cross the line physically. So
that's another one. You can't be sneaking folks, man. Like you can't be sneaking folks. No matter like I don't give people credit for that. Like you don't get bonus points for sneaking people, man. It's like, and then it's one of those things where I've seen it like personally how things can go wrong. I remember in high school, like a couple of like not friends but associates I had went around punching people and they accidentally killed the dude.
Wow.
So it's one of those things. Like people don't understand there's like real life consequences to just going around just trying to sneak folks and try to sucker punching people.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about you now. You're coming off a huge win. You do it in Las Vegas. You look great. So what does Sodiq Yusuff do after his fight to celebrate his win?
You already know me. I don't drink or smoke. Mine's is strictly ice cream. I get a whole bunch of ice cream and I go crazy. I give myself a little bit of time to pig out, and then after that, I start trying to restrict myself again. So this one was pretty good. They wanted me to go to the hospital at first, but I figured I was gonna be okay. I thought my injury wasn't that bad, but it wasn't until I got back home that I was like, oh snap, I fractured my orbital. But it's yeah, the doctor said it was actually pretty clear now. I don't like you can still see a little bit of blood, but like the night of it was all red. But they said it's one of those things that it will heal on its own. It said it's gonna heal in like 6 weeks. So as long as I don't get a hit or anything like that, it should all be good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So did you end up going to the hospital?
When I came back home, I did. When at the hotel, I blew my nose and then like it all like puffed up and like I could like feel all the air like in there. But right at this point, it hurts a little bit looking to the right, but like they said, it's gonna heal. It's like any other bone. Like the socket is still intact. It was just like the wall in the back.
Okay. And is your vision okay? You can see all right?
Yeah, in the fight I couldn't see, but like towards the end of the third, yeah. So in the first round when I had him against the fence, he just hit me like a little small shot, like right to the eyeball, and it was like blurry. But then in the third round, he caught me with a straight left, and it just went black. Wow. So I thought like I couldn't see anything at all. I thought he had shut my eye, but I could feel myself blinking. So I was like, okay, my eye's not shut. I was like, I just hope it doesn't look ridiculous. Like it doesn't, it doesn't look like it's like hanging off, And once the referee didn't react, I was like, oh, okay, I guess maybe we're just gonna have to deal with it. But when I rewatched the fight, like you don't see anything. Like it doesn't look like anything that happened at all,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know you broke it until just now you mentioned it, but it's good you didn't blow your nose in the cage because that it puffs up pretty quick,
Exactly.
right?
Well, it was a third round anyway. So
Yeah,
if I it would have been at the end of the fight.
right. That's good. You also last time we talked, you mentioned you had some bad lingering COVID symptoms. So how long did it
Oh
take
yeah.
for you to fully recover from that?
Man, I wish I had the timeline, but I was out for a long time. That's why I didn't fight all last year. Like after the Arnold fight, I was out of the gym like literally for like a couple months, because the timeline is real weird. I got sick, I recovered. Oh, I thought I recovered, and then like when I was going to the gym, like I started feeling strange. I would just get tired real quick. I would feel like going to sleep. I would feel like laying down. My body would start aching, and it was happening all the time at the gym. Where I started thinking, man, maybe I'm not motivated or something like that, or like maybe I'm depressed or blah blah. So my solution would just be like going for like long runs, just like try to clear my mind, not knowing I was making myself worse and
Yeah.
worse. Then it got to the point where like the symptoms stopped coming on at the gym. It was just on in my regular life. Like I'll just be in the kitchen or in the living room and I'll start feeling all the same stuff again. And so it got to the point where like I told my coach, I was like, man, I might have to like stop this martial arts stuff, like stop training because I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't until my doctor, it was actually one of the team doctors. He was working with a track girl that had long haul COVID symptoms. And he was like, man, the stuff that you're saying, it sounds like the same stuff this girl's going through. I didn't know anything about long haul COVID. I figured, I'm a young, healthy guy. I was like, once I beat it, it'll be all good. Then I started looking up stuff, and like when he was talking to me, I was like, oh wow, it's a lot more common than I thought. I didn't know that there was so many athletes. And that's a funny thing is like it was mostly happening to athletes. Like a lot of them, like a lot of sprinters, a couple football NFL guys. I didn't know how common it was. So then I just had to take a long time off, like no physical activities at all. I was just making it worse and worse for myself by trying to push through.
Right. So when you finally got back in there, were you like symptom free or was it?
No. So that's another thing. So when I finally got back, it was one of those things that were like it was very depressing because it wasn't like a straight path. It'll be like you'll be okay for like a day or two and then crash again. It'll be okay for like 3 days, crash again. It will be okay for two. So it was one of those type of things. So then I started basing my training off how many days I could go with training without feeling anything. So it wasn't until I was able to go like 2 months of training without symptoms to where I asked my coach for us to try to take a fight again. So that's what took so long, because I'll do good for 2-3 days and then it'll get really bad. Or the worst one was like I did good for like a straight month and I was like, hey, okay, that's what I'm feeling. And then one day it just happened again. But knock on wood, all that is gone.
Wow. So you say it a month at a time to be okay, but then one day like the same old stuff would hit you.
Yeah. So what the doctors was telling me too, they was like, be careful because sometimes you'll be playing mind games with your mind is messing with you. It's like so you have to keep like a positive attitude and know that you're okay. It's like what do they call those bumps that your body shows when you're having
Hives.
like no, not a hive. It's like is these things that they test for like on lymph nodes. It was like when your lymph nodes are like swelling up, like as if your body's fighting something off and stuff like that. It's like everything that we're checking on you is completely fine. Like your body's not reacting anymore. So make sure you're not playing mind games with yourself and stuff like that. But I'll be sitting there like, man, this not in my head,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like trust me, what I'm feeling right now is not in my head. So it's one of those things like if I felt anything funny, I'll start panicking, like, hey, I gotta go home, coach. Like, hey, I gotta stop right here. So
Right.
that once all that was finally over, I was free. I was like, all right, let's try to schedule a fight.
Yeah. So I mean, you talk about the fight prep. So you booked Alex Caceres, who you just defeated. He does have one of the most unique styles I've ever seen. So how was it coming off that long layoff and just training all together to now you got to prepare for one of the
A very
craziest guys?
awkward style. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was lucky enough that I had teammate. I had one teammate that moves a lot like a taekwondo guy. So he helped me a lot. Mike Carlson. He helped me a lot with his striking. But I had so many help on the jiu-jitsu side. There's so many freaking high level jiu-jitsu guys around my gym. Jamil and Malachi really helped me out with a lot of one-on-one sessions. And my wrestling coach Garrett Lineberger, like he helped me out a lot too. So it's one of those things where like the training camp was so specific just because Alex is so weird, you know. I think that really helped me out. In the first round, like when the fights first started, it was still really tricky just because he punches at such weird angles, you know. And I feel like after maybe like a minute into the end of the first, I was able to get myself together.
Nice. So since the fight, you've expressed interest in fighting Bryce Mitchell. What about that fight stands out to you?
Yeah. I've been wanting that fight for a while. You know, to be it's funny. It's like I've only asked for two different fights in the UFC. It's Kron Gracie and Bryce Mitchell. You know, I just want to try. I want to test myself out against a real grappler. I feel like a lot of people underestimate my grappling skills. That's why I'm really interested in that fight. It's nothing personal.
Nice. I mean, personally, I think that's like a main event fight. Like, I think that one could be 5 rounds.
Man, that would be really cool. I to be honest, man, I feel like that would be something like for like a little small fight night, you know, like co-main event for sure. Like, but fingers crossed, it might be main event, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people want to see him have a headline a show in Arkansas. Would you be down to kind of have
hell yeah,
like an away game?
I'll come in as the bad guy.
Nice.
I'm a nice dude though. It's hard to be a bad guy, but I'll come in as the opposition.
Might have to play the heel. So last question. Last time we talked about your speed walking competitions in the gym. You said you were the champ, only lost one time. Are you guys still racing, and are you still on top?
You know what? It's been just because you said that. I got practice at 8:30 in like an hour. I might have to bring it back for the night. You know, right now I'm staying away from any physical contact, so I've mostly just like been drilling and just watching. But I might have to bring back the speed walking. I gotta get some competition in somewhere.
Well, shit, I'd feel like a real asshole if you were speed walking and then whacked your eye on something. And
that would be the most dumbest way for me to re-injure myself.
You guys have any other like fun competitions you do in the gym besides that, or is it?
It's always random. You know, the gym's a very competitive place, so there's always something random going on.
That's awesome. Well, Sodiq Yusuff, you just beat Alex Caceres. Thanks so much for coming on. This is awesome, man.
No problem. I appreciate it, man. Have a nice one, Chief.
You too. Thank you.